Welcome to the Penny for Our Thoughts podcast, where you can get a third-party opinion on your worries, concerns, or problems that you may have. But please, don't keep it to yourself. Give some to us. My name is John.
And my name's Gerald, and we're your hosts for today's episode of Penny for Our Thoughts.
And this week, we are joined by another guest. This guest, please introduce yourself.
As angels play in the background.
Hey guys, it's Joe. What's up?
Hey, Joe. Thanks for joining us.
No worries. Thanks for inviting me.
Of course,
No problem. I think she is the first guest that came onto this podcast that had to actually fly to join us.
That's special, hey?
We flew her out, right?
Exactly. All right. So, because of that amazing, significance in our podcast, we're actually doing 5 concerns today.
5 big
Oh,
ones.
that's a big one. That's going to be long.
Now, the reason why we're doing 5 is, again, because, we had our first guest fly down into our podcast as our guest, as well as there's going to be some that are fairly short by the way I'm looking at it. So,
Okay.
that's why. However, for the first time, I'm going to ask JoJo to decide the order of we do this. Now, in the 5 concerns, some of them are super heavy, and then some of them are just light, and again, kind of be a small talk that we talk about. So, do you want to go heavy to light or light to heavy?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Heavy to light or light to heavy?
Yeah.
Let's go for it head on. Heavy to light.
Heavy to light. Okay, then. All right. First one. Everyone ready?
Let's go.
Bring it.
Okay. This one is from username Payback401. The title is Rape Accusation Proven Innocent. Story time. When I was in 7th grade, I didn't have many friends, but the friends I did have happened to be mostly women, and life was simple and good. Go to school, stay up late playing video games, repeat. There was a new student to our school, and she happened to sit next to me and my friends, and just out of kindness, we invited her to the friend group. And it was cool. She was shy, but it wasn't like we hung out after school or didn't do anything more than talk in class or at lunch. Like I said, life was simple in the 7th grade. One day, I get pulled out of class by a police officer, and he takes me to the office, and I'm shocked, thinking maybe my parents got hurt or something insane. Right, well, it was definitely insane because when I made it to the office, my parents were there, and the principal were there, and the principal was in my face telling me that I sexually assaulted a new girl. I'm scared because not only was I at the time was too scared to talk to my crush, but definitely didn't have the audacity to do this. There was no proof, no witnesses, and it was just her word against mine. Fast forward a little, I'm placed in what we called alternative school, basically a place for bad kids, multiple meetings with parents and principals still trying to get me to break. And my parents are accusing me at this point. Rumors have spread like wildfire, and I have the new girl telling me her dad was going to kill me if he ever finds me, and the world is falling apart. After 3 years later, everything had calmed down. Nobody talks about it, but they definitely know about it. It was so hard to see my old friends, the looks they gave me, and the girl finds me in the hall and tells me that she said she was sorry. That's all I ever got was a sorry. So she admits that, he didn't actually sexually assault her. However, I still lost all my friends, parents, and some think I'm still that kind of monster and horrible, and I still have that horrible reputation in school. Not sure how I didn't shoot myself. I'm not suicidal. I'm good. So, back to present day. I've graduated college. I have a good friend group, and life's not bad. But I got this fear of talking to women now. So all my friends are getting married and having kids. I'm feeling really left out in life, and I can't push myself to get into the dating scene. I just push myself into work and work so many hours just to hide the fear. But I feel like there's a way to move on and grow up, just like I'm missing something. Feels like I'm missing something.
Well, I think this person definitely had it hard back in the day. And it's definitely normal to feel this way, even all this time. I think it's really hard. I think it's a very psychological thing, like this PTSD that you have ever since you were a kid, especially since when you were in 7th grade, you were still a baby, really. And like back in junior high, this is where you grow. And if you had something happen to you, then that's definitely going to stump your growth as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think it's necessarily wrong to throw yourself into work life and just not date or anything. I think it just takes time and also maybe just like certain people to help you like figure yourself out. Maybe all this time you have a fear of talking to women or just the dating life in general. I feel like you just haven't met the one that will help you step outside of this fear. Because if there has to be something that will help you, I think, dig your way out of this dark hole that you are in. And it just takes either like a certain group of friends or a certain person to help you with that. I'm not sure if this person has told his current friends or not. You know, because like a lot of times when you're facing your fears or you're facing your past, you have to actually vocalize it and actually face it in order for you to overcome that sort of certain fear or something. So I feel like if in case that friend hasn't told his friends, maybe that's why he's still like, you know, being overshadowed by the past. And if he hasn't, I think it's maybe a good time to find a certain time or like just like pick a few certain close friends of his that he actually believes and truly think that he can actually lean on, or that he actually thinks that they are their true friends that won't actually step all over him or joke him or tease about his past, but actually be there for him and actually help him figure out what to do like in the future. And I think with the dating life, I feel like you don't have to rush it. You just, finished college. You're still pretty young, right? Like there's a lot of times where people don't date or start, getting to know the opposite gender until like, later on the years. It's not bad to throw yourself working right now, get some more money, right? And like even at work, you'll meet a lot more people, and you'll get a lot more experience with talking to other people as well. So maybe that will also help this guy. I'm not too sure. What do you guys think?
The one thing I took from that is when you mentioned PTSD, it might not be diagnosed PTSD, but I'm sure that there's quote unquote symptoms of it showing because of what happened when he was young. It's very formative years, right? And that'll stick with you, like you said. So at the risk of sounding like a broken record, yeah, support system is kind of what he needs right now. He needs to let it out. He didn't say whether or not his new friends know, right?
No, I don't think he didn't mention anything that if they do or do not know. But judging by what he said, because his friends are getting married and having kids, I'm assuming he's a lot older. I know Jojo mentioned he just graduated college, but I think he's more like high 20s to low 30s. It's like the vibe I'm getting. He didn't mention his age.
Still wouldn't call him old. Like I wouldn't call him old. At this point, if he hasn't found any sort of outlet, whether it be a support group within his friends or some sort of therapy, because that's not nothing. A rape accusation when you're that young, that's absolutely not nothing. And I'm surprised. And the fact that his parents went against him, like seriously,
is that the same thing that we talked about last time, where when a guy's accused of this, it blows up everywhere. But then if a girl's accused, it's like, no, like it can't happen. Like what are you talking about?
The whole girl can't rape a guy double standard. I don't want to get into that in this. Maybe we will get into that into this topic. But the fact that he mentioned that his parents went against him makes me think that he didn't get help when he was young. Definitely not from his parents. And I don't know if his parents would have endorsed trips to therapy and whatnot. But that's something better late than never, right? I think he should seek professional help in this case, in my opinion. But at the very least, like you said, Joe, find people within your friend group that you trust and you feel close to, and tell them what you're going through. Like having that support system is very important on even if you haven't gone through a traumatic event, even if it's just going through the daily troubles of life, having that friend who can be like, hey, I have a bad day, can I hang out or whatever, right? What do you think, John?
The girl said sorry, but I'm just surprised he didn't do anything after that. Like,
what would he do? What do you think he would do?
I would make her fess up. I mean, I don't know if at that point, I don't know how old they both were when she came up and apologized, but she literally ruined his life, right? Whether it's socially or whatever, but his whole social circle is completely destroyed, and he just like let it go. That's what I don't want to understand. Like I would have been like, yo, you better tell everybody, right? Tell because the police got involved, right? So there must be like a case number, right? And I just I like the fact that she got away scot-free. Yeah. That's what really bugs me. Is like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, but no harm, no foul is pretty much the feeling that I'm getting from this girl. But there's no other way to put it. Like literally ruined his life, right? How would I move on from this? I don't know. I seriously don't know how I could move on from that situation. You're grade 7, right? That's like your biggest growing period, and that happens to you. I don't know. Like like what Joe and Gerald said, yeah, talking to friends would definitely help, and having a good social group would help. But it's so long ago that all your friends could possibly say like, hey man, it's not true, it didn't happen, right? So I don't know. What would you say? Like if you were in that situation, how would you move on and start meeting other people, meeting new people?
I think some people might actually, like you said, you don't know why nothing happened after the girl said, I'm sorry. So maybe like if you really had to tackle this problem to the, core, is actually go back to the past and revisit everything and actually deal with the problem at hand, which is, you know what, like I was accused of all of this. I need some sort of clarification. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know exactly how long that has been. So maybe it's going to be hard to find the girl or even just the people involved at that time. Right. But I think if you really did want to attack it from the core, you will have to go back and maybe talk to the girl and be like, hey, like, I don't need anything really done, but I just want to hear your explanation or just like a complete closure of the problem. Yes. I think one thing that a lot of people can't get past from the past is that there's no closure. It's like you're leaving it in the air for some people to interpret and everything. But if there's no concrete closure, you're always going to feel like there's a problem and that you can never move forward from that.
Yeah, it's always going to be nagging at you until you either get, hey, I'm sorry I did it because this, as an example, right? There could be many more strings that need to get tied. But adding on to that, that would be very hard to do alone. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
So that's why I want to harp on this fact that he needs to have that support system intact.
And like I said this off our podcast and stuff. Like honestly, if you are a girl or a guy and you falsely accuse someone of something like that, I seriously think you should go to jail for like a long time.
Yeah,
that's just my personal opinion. Like let's say you're an adult and you've like say a girl's like, oh, this guy, raped me or sexually assaulted me, and that turned out to be false. That jail time should like at least be more than 5 years. Because
you ruin a person's life.
Yeah. Right. Just like if you murder someone, you ruin their life and everyone around them. It's the same idea. Like you literally ruin his life. I keep saying that over and over again, like a broken record. But seriously, yeah maybe. And the parents, the school, like faculty members, I think really handled it terribly because they just listened to the girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was it. Right. And like we said, we live in a society where you're innocent until proven guilty. But in this case, you're like guilty until proven innocent.
He even said himself, there was no proof, no witnesses.
Yeah.
And he was instantly branded.
Like I don't even think he had a chance to explain himself,
no,
probably.
I doubt it.
Like as soon as I think because he said the principal, as soon as he came into the office, the principal's just yelling at him, saying, what are you doing? Right. And I'm surprised the adults didn't actually pick up on that. They're like, these are just teenagers. They lie. They can make things up just to get attention. Right. And there's like, no. And then again, the audacity on the girl to just be like, oh, I'm sorry. No harm, no foul, right? Like
just casually, I'm sorry. Like I feel like maybe at this time, like obviously I don't know where this guy is at right now with his relationship with his family. I really don't know, but I feel like if by any chance him and his parents aren't good, like their relationship, I feel like that's one place to start. Because I know with a lot of people, with or without their parents' love, that changes someone's growth like significantly. And so like at this point, like if their relationship isn't good, maybe in order for him to actually overcome this fear or this entire PTSD case is actually to like talk to his parents, ask them why they never really believed him in the past, or just have him explain himself. Maybe he has explained himself many times in the past, but actually sit down with them this time and just hear their side of the story. I think that's also one thing that he can do, I guess.
So, Joe, let's say it happened to you.
Oh, boy.
In junior high, it happened to you.
Yikes.
And you're older, you have your career going. How would you go out and meet other people? What would be your first step?
Well, I don't actually meet people these days anyways. I'm a homebody, so I don't think I can really, maybe I can. We'll see what I can do. So I think meeting people for me is not important to me. So unlike this guy, I don't really feel the need to actually meet new people. Like the friends that I have, the family that I have, the relationships that I have with people is enough for me. The only places I know that I can meet new people is, I don't really go to coffee shops. I don't have a lot of hobbies. Places where I would meet people I go to church. And so like I'm very okay with just like a close circle of friends. Obviously these days, meeting people online, meeting friends online, that's a big thing. And it definitely is a thing that you have to commit yourself to if you want to meet people online. But you can always hide things when you're meeting people online, right? So in that sense, like I feel like if you really wanted to meet someone online, it'll have to be he'll have to be very lucky to meet like people that will trust him or just like be okay with him as a person that they're talking to online. And then afterwards, when they are meeting in person, like they are okay enough to be like, hey, you know what? Like, we don't care about your past kind of thing. Right. But I think meeting people in this society, like people can go to bars, they can go drinking, they have a lot of hobbies they can go to meet new people. And I think it depends on how comfortable this person is. Obviously, clearly, he isn't comfortable in meeting new people, but he is still questioning, like, what'll happen if I do meet new people. So I think if it was me, I personally wouldn't go out to meet people, but that's just me. So I don't think I can really like answer this guy's question that well.
Okay, well, let's say, you're older. I don't know if you want to get married and you're older and have a family, but let's say you met this person and you love this person. Would you tell that person your past?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Why would you hide anything?
Yeah, it's not like you did anything wrong, so I wouldn't hide anything either.
It's not even just that. The fact that like when you're committed to someone, like that person, I feel like when you're talking to this person, there will be times where the past will come up. Especially with such a big thing that has affected your childhood growing up. Like, it's not going to be something that you can just slip under the rug. Because as a person, if you are affected by this situation, it definitely will like it'll affect a certain part of your personality, I would say, or just as a person in general. And in order for you to actually commit yourself or like be transparent with your partner or whoever, like there has to be a time and place that you guys will talk about it, right? Because if that person, for instance, if I meet someone I love very dearly and this person loves me very dearly and I tell this person my past, and if he doesn't accept it, then like why would I want to be with this person?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
Like you need to find someone who will accept you no matter of what happened to you in the past or the future. You're stuck with this person for life. You're creating a family with this person. You're raising kids with some sort of like certain rules or views and beliefs. If that person doesn't, side with you or have the same values and beliefs as you, I don't think it's necessarily like the right person to be with then.
What about you, Gerald?
I'm still kind of stuck on the fact that it's how unfortunate it is that this has enveloped his life. Like he maybe subconsciously has turned this event into a part of his identity that he's afraid to show people, right?
Yeah.
Like this has caused him to not trust people enough to open up, right? I'm assuming at this point, I'm assuming he hasn't told his new friends. And I think that's important. It's very important to be fully who you are. And if he's making this who he is, then he's never going to be able to do that. You know what I mean? So I think the goal here, one of the first goals, I think anyway, is to solidify in his mind that what happened to him in the past is not who he is, right? Like this should never have been his label to begin with, and it definitely isn't now, especially as little acknowledgement as the girl gave him. Is it assumed that it's out in the open that he didn't do it? Like,
it's not. I don't think it's out in the open. I think it's just now.
She just said sorry.
Yeah, she just said sorry, and I think the people that were. I think even the people there still believe that he did it, but because
Really?
I don't think she publicly announced that. Oh, this guy didn't do it. I just made it up, right? She just said sorry to him. Is what he said. So,
well, and the messed up thing is now it's been so long that if an apology does come out, it's going to be like, oh, maybe he forced her to do that. You know, like there's going to be always hearsay, and there's always going to be like a landslide of other things because of what this girl did to him. Which, I mean, if this wasn't a difficult situation, I guess we wouldn't be talking about it. But like the first point of the first point is to distance himself from the fact that that's not who he is. It's something that he didn't even do. I was going to say something he did. It's not something he did at all. It's something that unfortunate that happened to him. It's like getting into a car accident and breaking your leg. You know, like it was not your fault. It was just an unfortunate situation that happened to you, and it just ruined your life forever.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I want to say too. Is like just kind of jumping off your point there. It's like you know, it might, as hard as it might be, you just gotta understand that it never happened. Like pretend that it never happened, because it never happened. Yes, your social circle got destroyed, but it seems like you're jumping back, and I think we should applaud you for that, jumping back, even just alone, like coming out of that traumatic experience. And, you know, you finished college, you have a job, you have a career. That alone should be something that you should be celebrating.
Oh yeah.
Right. And yeah. And like you said, it never happened. Whatever that happened in junior high, it never happened truly. So yes, it's going to be hard, but just pretend it never actually happened. And I think then if you do that, I think eventually you'll find your stride and just be like, okay, I'm just going to go out more, be more outgoing and try to meet more people, whether it's like Joe said online or whether it's in like hobby groups or like religious groups or whatever it might be. But it's a terrible situation that you had to go through this, and you will live with it for the rest of your life for that traumatic experience. But just know that you didn't do anything wrong. Yeah. And what you have done up till now to succeed in your life is amazing.
Yep. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, I think the fear of even doing anything right now, it's stemming because you are still so stuck in the past. Is because, like both of you guys have said, like it's become part of his identity. Mm-hmm. But as long as he separates himself from that specific identity, it'll just become so much easier for him. Obviously, it'll be hard to even do that first step. But once he realizes that, you know what, like I'm so scared of, I don't know what's going to happen. But that's because you're still thinking back when you were in 7th grade, when everyone was pointing fingers at him, right? So as long as he has that mentality of, you know what, I didn't do anything wrong. I was strictly accused of doing anything you guys have said. You know, that is not who I am as a person. Once you get to that mentality, then you will actually see yourself in a different light. You'll see yourself and you'll find a different identity. You'll slowly find that confidence too, I think.
I think big picture, this situation isn't very, it's not uncommon. Like big picture, this is all that's happening is he's having some sort of insecurity holding him back from what he wants, right? Everyone has insecurities. Everyone has their own way of working towards getting rid of them. And this just happens to be a really big one that's hard to get rid of. But building yourself up around people that value you for who you are, and working on yourself. I think a big one is, like, I've mentioned this in like every other podcast, like find a hobby, something you can get good at, something that you can find people with the same common interests to build you up as a person, to find who you are as outside of this incident, right?
Yeah, you got to grow into a butterfly, shed off that old skin.
I think that covers concern. Wow, that's pretty heavy, eh?
That was a big one.
Joe wanted it heavy first.
All right, it's time for me to retire, guys.
Yeah. That's her entire podcasting career.
All right. Ready for number 2?
Okay.
Let's get it.
All right. Let's go. All right. So this one is from Substantial Wear. And the title is 7 Years Single at 37 years of age. Am I a lost cause? She is a woman, by the way. It was a very good relationship with my ex-fiance for the most part. We had one of those relationships that no matter what happened, we still laughed every single day, which is rare these days. We were together for 4.5 years. I was 29 and him 24. We lost our daughter and had to give birth to her, unfortunately, too late because the idiots at the hospital didn't get her out in time. It was a very tough time for both of us afterwards. We were in both different stages of grief. We moved up towards my mom 4 months after, and just 4 months after that, he left me, making me lose all hope on life. I've survived, but it took time, and I've been single since. Some of the time through choice. Whether it can be a combination of fear or rejection, self-esteem, and or can't break myself just to have fun, I don't know. I feel like a loser. I was really ready to get back into it again at the start of 2020, but we all know how that went down. Another 1.5 years later, although I've been on various dating apps and I do get attention, I just not felt like I can do it. I want to. I'm craving the intimacy in all ways, as I'm sure you can imagine. But I don't have the strength or the inclination to play around anymore. I think there's something wrong with me. Please help.
Okay, well, first and foremost, you're not a complete loser. It is totally normal to still be single after a big breakup. After all these years, it's definitely normal to stay single. You're not a loser. You're not a complete, useless or whatever you think you are. No, you are not. You are a good person. You are a confident woman. And I think you just haven't met the person. I think, yes, the past definitely has affected your way of thinking, like the previous problem that we just had. But going forward, I think you are still too afraid to put yourself out there. A lot of times when you are trying to get into a relationship, what happens is that you start building walls up. Because you've built all these years of walls up, it's so hard for you to overcome these walls, to see past the walls. And so when that happens, or you're not really true to yourself, when you're not that transparent with yourself, it's so hard to go outside and meet someone and actually, be who you are as a true person. I think that it's totally normal to feel this way, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people have, started relationships even past their 40s. Sure, it is past the prime of like women and everything, but I think if you really want it to happen, it will happen. Obviously, giving birth and everything, that's a different story when the age gets too high up there. But I think just finding someone in general that will truly see you for who you are and won't actually play around with, as you were saying, I think it's definitely possible still. But I think you just have to keep striving for it, I guess. Keep working on yourself. Like, just because you haven't met the person, it doesn't mean that the problem is on you. It just means that the people that you've talked to or that you met, maybe they're just not, ready for like a true relationship or something. Or maybe it's just that you still haven't realized that you have to put yourself more out there. Well, not out there, but it's like you have to find your true self in order for you to find someone else. Something that I've always always said to myself is, if I'm looking for someone of this, the same values, same beliefs, or like whoever I want to, be with for the future, I have to work on myself first. I need to know what I want. I need to know what my values, what my beliefs are in order for me to find someone who sees the same things. Like it's hard, definitely. And with the age as well, it's not going to be that easy. But I don't think it's a lost cause. There are still many single men out there that are still looking, for a future spouse. But I always say this, like if you're willing to be out there to commit yourself to a relationship, I'm pretty sure there's also someone of the opposite gender who feels the same way. It's just a matter of fact of like timing, matter of fact of like, just the
luck,
I guess. Yeah, luck.
I hate to say it, it is.
But yeah, right?
Right place, right time,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also, because I have a Christian background. So for me, it's like, if God wills it to happen, it will happen.
Yeah.
Right? There's always God's timing. So for me, it's like, if I was in that situation, if I was that woman, I wouldn't like lose faith in anything. It's just that like, it's just not ready yet.
Yep.
But I'm always the kind of person who does things like just because. I don't really plan for the future, if that's something. So like for me, I'm not that worried. But as long as you have faith, as long as like you still work on yourself and still be confident and look positively, like I feel like people will see that of you. If you start losing confidence, if you start losing the faith in yourself, people will see that.
Yes.
Right. People will see that you're losing, that you don't have the confidence, the love. Like if people can see if you don't love yourself. So that's one thing I want to say is like, you cannot stop loving yourself. You have to continue loving yourself and start, you have to continue working on yourself as well, because people can see that. Right. And so if someone is trying to look for someone, but they just see like, a slum, for worst choice of word, and they see a slum, it's like they're not going to be attracted to you as they would if you were a better person of yourself.
Yeah. One thing that I definitely agree with there is to work on yourself. You can call me old school, but I don't like the idea of dating for the sake of dating. Like I'm not single, and I met my girlfriend through doing something I love. And it's not because, hey, let's go out on a date. It's like we were there enjoying the same thing, and we just happened to vibe, So I believe in that, I guess, philosophy of dating of like, and I'm a lot like you, where you said you don't necessarily plan for things. In that way, I feel like there's less pressure, there's less sense of expectation whenever you go into anything, right? Because if you're going into something, whether it be dating or whatever, thinking like there's only one situation in which I would consider this a success, that's putting a lot of pressure, right? So go into something with the goal of, I guess, working on yourself and being happy, just being you, like finding the best version of you can, separate from the fact of being single or not, separate from the label that you put on yourself being single. I don't know. I think I exhausted my thoughts on that.
Yeah, pretty much Joe and Gerald covered everything that I wanted to say. There's two things I want to say is, one, I'm surprised the guy left. And I don't know, it makes me feel like, man, that guy's dumb, right? Because they both are in the stages of grief after that traumatic incident. And then only person that you're probably going to connect with and you can share that grief with is that person. But he just left. I don't know why he left. I mean, there are probably some reasons that happened in those 8 months or whatever. But, if it was that reason, I'd be like, man, that's dumb. Second thing is that you're 37, I think is what it said.
37.
Yeah. So like, I think you're going by the whole like North American kind of culture where like people get married super early. But I mean, if you look at Asian cultures, right, the average age of like marriage is like what, low 30s, 33, 34, right? I've definitely seen people get married like later. So if you're, if we're judging by that in the world aspect, you're just maybe above average, if that. So I think if that's what you're worried about, just your age, don't worry about it. Like Joe said, she covered it pretty well. You're going to find someone and it's going to work out. So
concentrate on yourself as opposed to getting rid of the single label,
Yeah.
Because if you make it about that, then you're, kind of digging yourself a hole. And just one thing, just playing devil's advocate here. I could see how the guy would want to leave.
I would too.
Right? Because if you're going through that grief and the source for it feels terrible saying this, the source of the grief is the one person, because they split up because they lost their daughter.
Yes. Well, we don't know the exact reason, but they lost their daughter 8 months later. They broke up.
Okay. So I'm going to assume here that that's like the first domino.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So if you're grieving and every time you look at this person and remember that moment, why you feel like this, I can see that being all encompassing. I can see that being like, hey, I'm looking at this person who I love, but then also if it weren't for this person, I wouldn't feel like this, and it's a terrible thing, but I could see that being what happened.
I think for a lot of people, there's 2 ways to grieve, right? Is not probably more than 2, but the 2 main reasons of grieving is like the way you grieve is you need someone there for you.
Yeah.
Whereas on the flip side, you grieve by yourself. And I think if I could say that I can see why that guy left, at the same time, I want to say I don't see it. I see why he left. Because yes, sometimes people will just leave because they just can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
And they just need an outlet, right? And to some people, that outlet is leaving their partner, right? Leaving that marriage, is it?
They were engaged, not married.
Engaged, yeah. Right. And so, in this society, it's normal to, leave your partner. But at the same time, I don't understand is like, why would he? It's so easy to say that, yeah, I'll always be there for you.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes down to it, us humans, we are very weak. We are very powerless and very useless. If you can't handle your emotions, yes, the easy way out is just leaving.
Yeah.
And so I think, unfortunately, that is what that guy chose, unless there are other stuff, going on between those 2.
And we didn't know. They were 8 months, right? So.
Yeah. And so I think to some people, it's very normal to leave just like that. But I feel bad, obviously, right, for the women. But it's like at the same time for me, if something like that happened to me, it would definitely affect me. My trust in men would definitely be down in the dumps.
Yeah.
Right. And it's going to be so hard for me to actually find that trust again. But I think once you get over the fact that I just want to be in a relationship, going back to what Gerald said, I totally agree with you when you said, just find a hobby, common interest and everything. For me, it's like I find myself finding someone when I'm friends with this person. I'm not the kind of person that will just go online and find someone to talk to. Or off the street, someone asks me for my number. I don't like that. I like being in a relationship after getting to know this person well. So,
and I think that's kind of where my thoughts came in. Is maybe I'm just she had your daughter and then you guys lost it together. I wouldn't leave my at the fiance, but again, just because I want to doesn't mean other people can't, right? But maybe that's where mine came from. I wouldn't leave, and that's why I'm like, oh, I don't know why this guy would. Everyone's different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there it goes. I think that covers the second concern.
Holy moly. This could be an episode each, man. I'm getting a little tired now.
Yeah. It's going to get better, okay? It's going to lighten the mood. Okay, so this is the third one. This is from Throwaway. The title is, My Girlfriend is Annoying AF. He is 18 years old. He's the male. His girlfriend is 19 years old. His girlfriends keep asking me, my girlfriend keep asking me if I have something on my mind or something is bothering me because I act different and I don't look happy anymore. I told her it's nothing and she shouldn't worry. I tried my best to act normal, but she somehow always knows that I act different. I'm currently going through some crap right now. I don't want my girlfriend to know, and I don't want her to know because it's none of her business. I hate to talk about my problems with other people. It's not my problem and I will deal with it alone. she keeps asking over and over and over again. It's honestly just annoying and I want her to stop asking or worrying about me. How do I make her stop worrying so much?
Okay, red flag right there from the get-go. Like, how is it not her business? Like, you guys are in a relationship together. If you're not willing to overcome problems with someone, why are you even in a relationship in the first place? Like, I understand that some people need their time to themselves. I totally understand that because I am that person. Whenever I'm going through something, I just want to be by myself. And I hate it when my friends or my family haggles me about it. But I learned the hard way that that doesn't get me anywhere. All I get is more worry from my parents and just more questions and more like bugging, right? So like they will constantly knock on my door, but I don't want to open that door because I need the time to myself. But I learned the hard way that, you know what, sometimes all it takes is a little crack in the door and saying like, hey, I'm dealing with something right now. Just give me time to process it by myself. And then I will let you know. And if I have any questions or if I need help, I will, I'll reach out. But at this time, I'm going to need that time to myself. You just need to let them know that you know that they are there. You just need to let them know that, hey, I understand you're worried about me, but don't worry about me because I can do this by myself. And if I can't handle it by myself, then I will reach out. But I don't understand why this guy is like, I don't need anyone's help. Like, it's my problem. It's not your problem. Get out of my face. Like, how rude is it to call your girlfriend annoying AF? Like, why? Like, is she even your girlfriend? Like, why are you with her? Do you even love her? You know what I'm saying? Like, hey.
First gut instinct is this guy sounds super young. Like he sounds
18.
18? Oh yeah, he said his age.
He's younger.
He's 19.
Young.
Yeah, I sorry, 18, and the girlfriend's 19. Yeah, so he is younger.
He sounds inexperienced in terms of like forming emotional bonds, and I know because I am / have been that guy of like, hey, I got a problem, not gonna talk to anyone.
Yeah,
I can just bottle it up, which is, as you said, not necessarily healthy. But I can empathize with him on the fact that like I don't want it to become anyone else's problem, or I don't want to have to make it a bigger thing than it is. I think that's one of the biggest things why people in general bottle things up. But man, you gotta step back and look at this relationship for what it is. Like why? One of the main reasons you're with someone, obviously there's many different reasons you get into a relationship, but one of the main reasons is so you have someone to support you in your times of trouble, right? Like one of the biggest ones, and it goes both ways. So if you put yourself in your girlfriend's shoes here, so imagine you see your girlfriend having, being troubled, being, like whatever he described himself to be, would you not be concerned? Right?
I would totally be concerned.
Yeah. If it was the opposite around, right? Like think of it in her shoes, right?
Exactly.
You're worrying, right? And she's worrying because she loves you. You have to understand that. And if you think that's annoying, I don't think you should be with her.
Exactly.
Right? And relationship isn't about hand-holding and just physical intimacy.
Right.
If that's what you think, then you're not gonna have a good relationship ever in your life.
No.
Right? It's about emotional intimacy as well, and she's trying to share that with you.
Exactly.
Like Joe said, there's gonna be 100% of time where you just want to keep it to yourself and you don't want to tell anybody, but you could always tell her, just be like, hey, I just want to think about this myself first, and then I'll tell you after if it gets there. If not, then whatever. But at least now she knows that you're going through something, and then since you asked her kindly, she won't keep asking you, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't want her to keep asking you, you need to change the way you're presenting yourself. Start being happy, right? Don't be down. Maybe that will change it. Why are you asking her to change? Why can't you change? Is like my thoughts on this. You're asking people and us, how should I, make her less annoying? Well, how about you start being more happy? How about you start being like, putting a worried face onto your girlfriend? And I'm sure she won't keep asking you, because if you're happy and you're like really joyful, I'm sure she's not gonna be like, are you going through something right now? Like, can I help you right now? Yeah. Like it's right. Instead of telling her to change, you should change.
Yeah.
Like just putting myself in that girlfriend's shoe. Like I feel super like put off. Like I'm just like, clearly I can see something going on with you. You know, clearly it's affecting our relationship. I don't know why. Is it because of me? You know, like, am I doing something? Did I say something that doesn't make you happy? Like, do you even love me anymore? Is what I would start thinking. Because not everyone is secure in their relationship, in their own self.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually a very insecure person. You know, if I'm in a relationship and I see that clearly something is putting this guy off, the first thing I'd think is me. Like, what did I do that's making you feel this way? Did I do something? Am I saying something wrong? Like, what is it about me that you don't love anymore? So the first thing I would think is me. So that's why I will constantly like, hey, is there something wrong? And if I keep hitting a wall, I'm not going to just like, oh, okay, fine. I'll just stop asking.
Yeah.
You don't do that in a relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to constantly try to find out why the problem has arisen, and you're going to try to figure out that problem. Right. And so we want to tackle that problem so that it doesn't happen in the future.
And the thing about this is he's creating a loop for himself. Just building on top of what you said, the fact that he's not telling her why, it's going to cause her to keep asking why, you know?
Yeah.
And I've been on both sides of this. I've been the boyfriend and the girlfriend in the girlfriend's shoes. It's frustrating. It's frustrating being in the girlfriend's shoes. And I think one thing I can say in his defense is that while you're in that state of like, I'm going through this, you don't see it. You don't see it as this person is necessarily trying to help me. You see it as, I'm trying to deal with something. Why are you bothering me? Especially if you're emotional, if you're mad, whatever he's going through. But this is what made me think that he's younger, is because he doesn't see past that. It doesn't seem like he sees past that. He can't step out of his emotional state and see the situation for what it is. She's trying to help me. Like,
one word I can say, this is kind of selfish. Like, it's just selfish. Like, this guy is being selfish.
Yeah.
Because yes, maybe he is young, but at the same time, it's like he's only seeing everything from his point of view. He's not seeing it from his girlfriend's shoes.
Yeah.
And so I think one thing that this guy can do to change whatever is happening is actually just like taking a step back and be like, all right, why is she being this way? Like, I started dating this girl because of what?
Yeah.
And like, is it really true that this girl is annoying? Like, do I see that she is annoying? Do I know that she's annoying in this way? I don't think so, right? Like, yes, sometimes people can be very annoying at times, and you will only figure it out after, being in the relationship. But I think that's why you need to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Like, am I okay with this girl being annoying? Right? Is this the only thing that's going? Is it a like a make it or break it kind of thing in a relationship? Right? If I don't want someone that's always annoying and bugging me with my problems, then I think it's like you're just gonna have to find someone who just won't care about you at all, right? Then I think that's kind of hard, and like kind of, I don't know, like it's always different to other people. But I think at the same time, it's just looking at the bigger picture. Like, why is she acting this way?
Yep.
Right? Once you figure that out, then you're just like, oh, you know what? Like, maybe it's something that I'm doing wrong. Or you think it's just communication, right? Like, a relationship is a two-way thing. It's not a one-way thing.
Right.
And you brought up a good point. Like, I think you got to look at the big picture, right? You're young. I don't see you, deciding this person might be your wife in the future. But maybe all three of us here are like that. We don't date just for the sake of dating.
Yeah.
Normally, that has to lead somewhere. And that might be kind of biased in this way, but what got me is none of her business. If you are in the mindset of us three, where like you date for like a reason, right? Until the end goal of marriage, family, whatever. If you get married to this girl, everything of your business is her business, right? It's not like just you. It's both you guys, whatever she goes through is your business. Whatever you go through is her business. So if you have this mentality saying it's none of your business, you don't get to know, then I don't know. Maybe you're just casually dating this girl. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if you are thinking of the end goal of being with this girl for the rest of your life, that mentality is never going to work out.
Nope.
Did he say how long they were dating for?
No, he didn't actually mention how long they were dating for.
Because that could be it too. Like, what if they just started dating? What if they like, hey, can you be my girlfriend yesterday?
Oh.
And then she's suddenly like, hey. You know,
are you okay?
Are you okay?
Did you need
I
something?
I could be like, yo, I just met you.
Yo, bro, we don't know each other, okay? You're just in my chem class or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, seriously though, like maybe just me, but if I like, dating someone, I'm pretty open to them, like 100%, right?
Yeah. The fact that they got to the point where they're dating.
Yeah.
I don't think this should be an issue.
Yeah.
It's communication. Like I said before, like a relationship is communication.
Yeah.
Like it's super important.
He might just have a different idea of what a relationship is.
Maybe it's like, hey, I like you. We get along. Let's start dating. But like, I'm the kind of person who also will just, I'm true to this thought is like, you know what? 18 is kind of pretty young.
Yep.
That's just who I am as a person. Like I'm more old school or traditional as you'd call it. But for me, it's like you're 18. You have tons of times in the future to actually meet someone. Right. But 18, like, like just figure out yourself. Right. Like find out who you are as a person. Start growing from there. Yep. Like tough luck, buddy.
Yeah. I kind of hope he sees that.
Yeah.
Eventually. Like if he stays like this his whole life, I'm like, oh, man, I don't want to put more into the pile. I kind of feel bad for whoever he ends up with. If he stays like this constantly.
I'm sure he'll grow out of it. I'm sure he'll learn once he loses her.
He said it. It's out.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I think that covers concern 3. Okay. So starting now, it gets a little bit more lighthearted. I mean, it got considerably lighthearted as we go down. When I read this, I literally just did a double take and I was like, what the heck did I just read? Right. And I'm so happy that I get to see both the expressions on your face when I read this concern. Like, I'm just so excited. And I wish we do video recordings too, but it's going to have to do. Are you ready for this? Go. Okay. This is from Advise But. Here's a title. My girlfriend, who's 19 years old, wants to break up with me because I, 21 years old male, ate our pet chicken.
Oh.
My dad got us 3 young chickens from a farm and left it in our house. They were in the backyard and my girlfriend really liked them because they were like pets but less needy. And all they did was just do their thing in the backyard. After 2 weeks, when she was out of state for a project, I went outside and realized that there were only 1 chicken. The barricade was broken and there were feathers all and blood. So I just assumed the wild animal got into them. The only surviving one was limping all day long. That night, the chicken came to me limping and I felt really bad. It had no friends and probably was going to die. So I got a knife and killed it and wanted to throw it away but I thought it'd be more respectful to eat it. When my girlfriend came and inquired, I told her because I didn't thought it was a big deal, but I misjudged how much she connected and liked the chickens. Now she thinks I killed it because I was jealous of her being happy and putting more attention to the chickens. I should have told her before I did it, but it was just a chicken. I didn't feel it was important. Being raised in a farm, killing didn't mean much, so it was a lapse on my judgment, and I kind of lost here. Before you guys start, when I read this, I was like, is this guy joking? But the way he wrote it, like the way you guys heard it, this guy is serious. Like 100%. It could be a joke, and he's like a very off-putting joke, but just the way I read it and just going through it, this guy's not joking. But yes, this guy ate their, I guess his pet chicken. It's not the girlfriend's, it's his pet chicken.
Wait, what's the actual question?
He's at loss here because his girlfriend wants to break up with him because he ate their pet chicken or his pet chicken.
But how serious is this breakup? Is it like I'm just going to break up with you because you ate the chicken? Or is it like, I'm actually going to break up with you because you ate my chicken?
She's like, he wrote that now she thinks I killed it because I was jealous of her being happy, putting more attention to the chickens. Putting more attention to the chickens. So this guy's actually serious, feels like this girlfriend's going to break up with me because I killed the chickens and I ate it.
Okay, well then like...
We made Joe stumble. She's like, what did I just hear? That's exactly what I thought when I read this thing. I was like, I gotta use this one.
What in the world?
Is this girl real? Like,
I'm assuming.
I mean, like, is she for real?
Like, why would you make up your imaginary girlfriend just to have her break up with you after eating chicken?
Yeah. I don't even know whose side I'm on.
I think I think I'm on his side. Growing up Filipino, I've seen I think it was my grandpa, it was a while ago, slaughter a chicken in the backyard and then just casually serve it in the soup for next day or the next meal. So, but then again, on the flip side, I've grown attached to animals. Definitely. Like I've had pets. One time in the Philippines, we had pet rabbit that one of our dogs killed, and I didn't talk to that dog for 2-3 months. But I do think I'm on his side, because the reason I say that is the key point is she said she wants to break up because she thinks
he was jealous.
Yeah. Right? What is, in my mind, is if I was him, I'd be like, okay, wait, hold on. Why did you think I was jealous? What do you think of me that I'd be jealous?
To a chicken. Out of all things.
Who do you think I am to make you feel that way? Is
exactly.
Am I the type of person that would get jealous over a chicken?
Yeah. And even, okay, I feel
we're
going to burst into laughter every time we say chicken now. But if it's not a chicken, just the fact that my partner would think that I would get rid of something that I thought was, okay, hold on, I got lost.
No, I think what I mean, right? Yeah, because I think you would think, because what does she think of me that I would get jealous of something and kill it?
Yeah.
Right? What if it was an actual person? All right, and not a chicken.
I don't think it.
It's what if it's a little sibling or something?
Yeah, or a coworker to make it more reasonable.
Yeah,
right, instead of a chicken.
This would be the equivalent of your girlfriend is talking, is all buddy with
another guy,
right?
Yeah.
And then you go up and hey,
and you stab him.
Stop talking to my girlfriend. Yeah. In her eyes, it would stab him. In his eyes, he just had dinner.
Yeah.
I don't know which side to take. I'm kind of really split here, because he lived on a farm, so just like what you had in your past, he's probably used to killing things and not letting things go to waste. But I can see on the flip side, the girlfriend probably had a real attachment to animals, just like you had attachment to that rabbit. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say about this one. I talked to her, right? Maybe she'll get over. I mean, I guarantee she'll get over it after
eventually.
Yeah, time passes. But I mean, to her, it could also be that she just lost a pet, right? Kind of think of it that way in her side, and just next time just talk to her before you kill any animals or whatever.
I'm still stuck on the fact that she thought he was jealous about it.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, she'll get over the chicken, with time, but at the same time, it's that actually just rises to the light. Is who does my girlfriend think I am?
Yeah.
Right? What kind of person does she think I am? What kind of guy is she dating, kind of thing? Right. So it raises some questions. It's can I be with this person in the future? If something like this similar happens, what is actually going to happen at that time?
But I think that could come up, right? She's grieving. So I think because of that grief, she could make things up. That's kind of the idea I got, and that's why I didn't mention that specific part. But yeah.
She could have just been hysterical because she lost her pet.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think in light of everything, it just, why did you choose this one? I don't think I can eat chicken anymore.
Okay, so we're on to the last one. Again, we're getting lighthearted, and I would say this is probably the lightheartedest one. And it's actually probably a feel-good one. This one's posed by username Slushhead00.
Okay.
What are some things I can do to make my girlfriend feel appreciated?
Oh, that's cute.
That is.
It's very cute. I want to hear the guy's opinion first.
It's gonna depend on the girl. Some girls are the traditional, here's flowers and chocolate. Another girl's just one thing, this is speaking from experience, one thing I think a lot of people, not just girls, is that if you make something as opposed to buy something, make it personal, make her a card with, I don't know, a picture that she didn't know you took of her or something like that,
Yeah, speaking from experience, 9 out of 10 times, again, it will depend on the girl, but 9 out of 10 times, girls like smaller things more than big things, right? Especially if you don't feel appreciated, you can't do big things every single time, but getting her favorite drink, right? From Starbucks or from some kind of drink shop, right? Getting her favorite drink. Or if she likes flowers, getting her flowers, cooking for her, cleaning, even just say thank you, right? Because I think, in later of the relationship, like when you've been dating this person for like 6-7 years, I think that kind of falls apart, and I think it shouldn't, right? Just say thank you every single time you're appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're really gonna go into the nitty gritty of this,
okay, let's get ready here.
It's love languages.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, you're right.
So when you guys say it's dependent on every single girl, I totally agree with it. It's how do you know this person? Like, what is this girl's love language? Then you start with that. If she likes gifts, go buy her gifts. It doesn't have to be anything expensive. If a girl's love language is a gift, just a tiny thing would help her. Going through drive-through, buying her McDonald's or something. She'll be appreciated. If her love language is quality time, maybe spend more time with her. Like take a day off of work, or if you have like a hobby that if you go to the gym or something, skip that gym session and like surprise her or something. But like, as long as you're with her and you're spending time with her, no matter what you guys are doing, just sitting there with your cell phones, it doesn't matter what you guys are doing. As long as you are with her, she will appreciate it. If her love language is words of affirmation, saying thank you, just being like, hey, you kind of look good today, or like just compliment her.
Yeah.
Like these little things will just make her happy. And like, there's 2 more love languages, but I'm pretty sure you guys get the gist of it, right? Like it is very dependent on the girl, and it doesn't have to be anything big, right? Like I think most girls will like surprises. I can't say that the big surprises that everyone will like, but mini surprises, I think most girls will enjoy.
Well, since we talked very generally and very wide, right? We have a girl here.
Where? Let's see.
So let's just be a little bit more specific. So what would you like to get or receive from your significant other to feel appreciated?
I think for me, I'm the kind of person. Well, first, I don't like flowers. I'm that kind of girl. I don't like flowers, but feel free to give me a bouquet of fruits, chocolate dipped fruits. Give me a bouquet of nuggets. Oh, I will love you forever. I think also for me, it's just basically, it's just like the connection. I think for me to feel appreciated is just getting that connection. Like if I'm trying to like talk to you or something and I'm not feeling that it's mutual, obviously I don't feel appreciated. Also, it's like I like it if this person went out of their ways to do something for me. For instance, like I know that you're always busy or something, but you take your time off to do something for me if I need help. Or if you just, I think just sending messages for me every day. Not every day, but like messages that you won't normally send would like, okay. So I like surprises, but like not really big surprises, but like surprises and like a day-to-day daily life kind of thing. If I know you're someone who doesn't do compliments, or that you're not a sweet talker, or like you're not a romantic guy, but you do something for me that's out of your personality, then to me, I feel like, hey, this person did it because of me. Then I'd feel appreciated.
So to wrap up, it's gifts, quality time.
It's everything, okay? No.
The top ones.
No, I think it's just, I don't know. Like, I feel like everyone has all 5 love languages.
Yeah.
Just which one do you value more, right?
Exactly,
Some people don't like I'm not a whole big gift person.
Yeah.
But, quality time is a big one.
Quality time.
Different,
yeah.
Right? Like
just hanging out. Like, for gifts, it's not even like anything expensive. Nuggets. Yeah. Give me 1-piece nugget and I'll like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, like, I don't know. Like, for me, I'm not the kind of person that I don't like making everything public,
Yeah,
and so
it doesn't have to be flashy.
Yeah, it doesn't not have to be flashy as long as I see that you're trying, I think. Like, it's like if you don't ever do this, but you do it because of me, I think that's one big thing for me is that I feel really like, wow, I feel very thankful, right? It's like, you never do this for me. It's out of your circle of comfortability or whatever. Is that even a word?
I don't think
Anyways, your comfort level. If it's out of that, then I would feel super appreciated because you're sacrificing yourself to do something for me. I think that's one big thing for me.
It's just an indication that you're trying.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Indication that you're trying. And going back more into specifics that we didn't touch on about love languages, depending on how long they've been together, service is one of them that we didn't touch on, right? If they're at the point where they're living together, it could be a matter of like cooking her dinner before she comes home from work.
Yeah. Cleaning, doing
the laundry yourself instead of like together sort of thing, you know? So she has less to worry about.
Yeah. And it's like, for me, it's like I'm at the point where like I'm currently in Edmonton and I don't have a car. It's like even just like giving me a ride anywhere, right?
Yeah.
So
little things, they all add up, right?
Yeah.
Save the big things for the big occasions.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that wraps up this episode of the podcast. It was a longer one, but like Joe said, we went from heavy to light, but we ended up on a really happy note. Obviously, this guy loves his girlfriend or significant other, right? So I think we end up on a happy note, eh?
Yeah, I'm glad you chose the heavy to light. Imagine having to do that first one now.
I think I'd go home sad.
Honestly.
Like super sad.
Yeah.
But Joe, I know you were super nervous before this podcast. How you? It's not bad, right?
I'm still nervous. What are you talking about?
No, you're not. I think I tell me if I'm wrong, Joe, but I think out of all the guests we had, I think JoJo talked the most.
It was very well thought out, elaborated.
I have a good poker face, okay?
Either way, thank you for coming on, Joe.
No, thanks for letting me come on. I've always enjoyed your podcasts.
She listens to it.
I'm a fan. I am a fan of your podcast. And being on it is very different.
She even flew out to be our guest.
You guys flew me out, okay?
Exactly. Let's go with that story.
Yeah, let's go with that story. That makes us look better. But thank you for tuning in, everyone. If you have your own concerns, problems, or worries that you would like a third-party opinion on, don't hesitate to give us an email at givesometous@gmail.com. Again, it's just givesometous@gmail.com. Thank you, Joe, for coming on. Thank you for the viewers again for tuning in.
Thanks, everybody. And remember, stay kind to each other.
Thank you, everyone. Stay happy and positive during this time.